Hello everyone and welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel. As with you always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today wherever you are in this great world. We're gonna talk about XRP. And I gotta start with this. Top trader, 24 recovery phrases of my XRP wallet will die with me. This goes down the path like Michael Saylor said. Once he's gone, his Bitcoin goes with him. A lot of people in the XRP community are already coming up with a way to leave their XRP to their children, to their grandchildren, and so on. And now you have wills coming to the blockchain as well. Why not leave your XRP to a good cause? Maybe it's just me. That's what I would do if I didn't have children. But most people are going to go down this path because they're following someone else's lead. I think XRP could make a very big difference in a lot of people's lives if you were to leave it to a good cause. But that's just my thinking. Other people think much differently. AI question about XRP and exactly what I've been saying. $10,000 to $50,000 XRP. So here's where it comes down to. This is how it gets there. Once XRP reaches full global institutional adoption, SWIFT, DTCC, real-world asset tokenization, CBDCs, commodities, and value transfer on the XRP ledger, the sustainable range for XRP would likely need to be $10,000 to $50,000 per XRP. So lower bound, 10K, enough to handle swift scale flows plus real world assets. Upper bound, 50K, enough to handle everything on the XRP ledger. SWIFT, DTCC, real world assets, gold, central bank digital currencies, without network congestion. And when would this happen? How close are we to this happening? I think it's only 24 months away until we see the early signs of this. It may even happen sooner with ISO going live next month. But we are already on this path. We are headed to this happening. People don't get that. You know, Ripple already has most of this already tied up. This is going to happen at some point in the future. We already seen all the connections. Get ready for the coming parabolic explosion. So everybody knows there's this explosion coming for the price of XRP. Short term, most likely in this cycle, we're going to see $50 plus. And I think that's even being conservative. I still believe we're going to go much higher. And a lot of the chart guys are now pushing the prices even higher as well, based on what they're thinking is going to happen with the ETFs and with regulatory clarity and ISO as well. But we need to see how this begins. In other words, we need to see how much money pours into the ETFs early on. We need to see how clarity affects the price of XRP and how fast it happens. In other words, is it going to be gradual upward movement, or are we just going to see solid spike after solid spike with institutional adoption? We're just not there yet, but we all know it's about to happen. Crypto was created for AI. This comes from Raoul. Take a listen.
What is an agent? An agent is AI, which is compute plus energy.
Right.
They need to be paid because they cost money. It's small amounts of money, but we're going to ask them to do a lot of things.
Yeah.
And agents will ask other agents to do things, or agents to robots. So Damien's agent needs his house cleaned today. So it contacts the robot. The robot gets in the robo-taxi, comes to your house, does the cleaning, so spends some time using energy and compute, and leaves.
Yes.
Now, what are you going to do? Give it your credit card? Leave it cash and a tip? No. It just happens instantaneously by crypto rails. So agents will pay agents. So this is the future of money.
And this isn't like, one day maybe, this isn't Star Trek.
Oh no, this is already starting to happen.
Yeah.
It's already starting to happen. And within 5 years, it'll be commonplace.
Yeah.
So again, if you think about it, you need to permission your agent or your robot to do something which will employ others to do the task, of which they need to be paid micropayments.
Yes.
You're not going to, they're going to send you an invoice?
Yeah.
That's how the world works now. It's so dumb, right? So what you do is you permission your agent to do certain things on your behalf, and it takes that proof and goes out and does it.
And that's why I always told you you're holding the robot money when you're holding XRP. And take notice, he mentioned micropayments. You're not going to have micropayments with Bitcoin. You could have micropayments with XRP. You could have it with XLM, XDC, and these other cryptocurrencies like HBAR and so on. But you already see this is coming. This is happening already. The early signs of this is already showing up. So he says by 2030, which means most likely by 2028. This will be adopted by a lot of people, not every single person in the world, but most people will already be leaning into this by then. Ripple CEO confirms next stage for XRP's institutional adoption. What it is it's privacy. And I said that's why Ripple came up with that, because that is key to institutional adoption. You're not going to get institutional adoption without privacy. It's just not going to happen. And that's why it's so important. But again, Ripple always seems to pivot at the perfect time to be aligned with the institutional adoption, which is going to happen over the coming months. The truth is becoming undeniable. Even the largest banks and financial institutions are now openly saying it's essential for them to interact with crypto in order to facilitate widespread adoption. Why? Because blockchain isn't just another innovation. It's the new financial infrastructure. Tokenization, on-chain yield, and digital assets are rewriting the rules of capital markets. Think about what this means. Banks that once dismissed crypto are now building products with it. Tokenized assets are becoming part of regulated global finance. The same yield strategies institutions use will soon be accessible to every crypto holder. We're standing at the edge of a financial system where participation in crypto is no longer optional for banks, it's mandatory. And they are going to want to earn money off of this. They're going to come up with so many different ways that people could invest in this through the banking system, through the traditional system, which will be converted over to a digital system. But that's why you're going to be able to get your passive income. They're going to open up all those options for you. And most likely your crypto will be FDIC insured as well. We're just not quite there yet. But this is all going to happen very quick as time goes on. Interesting theory how XRP could take over Bitcoin. Take a listen to this.
What is your theory around XRP overtaking Bitcoin as a market leader? What do you think?
Bendel, would you like to go on this, or you're asking me?
Go ahead. Either one of you can hit it.
Yeah, so I do believe that at some point, well, first of all, it's important to understand that, and this ties into the DXY as well, that all cryptocurrencies are driven by liquidity. That's the primary driver of financial assets and financial markets. Now, crypto, Bitcoin, even XRP happens to be the most sensitive risk-on asset to liquidity. So a very high correlation. So when these technologies really start to receive stable liquidity inflows on their network, essentially, they're going to derive their value from use case and adoption. And that will stabilize some of these prices. So the question is, If Bitcoin was a store of value, then why did it dump around April
Yeah.
when Trump announced Liberation Day and the bond market took a hit and yields spiked, crypto dumped? When if it was a store of value, it should have actually stabilized or even risen in price.
Exactly.
That alone tells me that this is not store of value. So, and actually gold actually rose that time. So what's interesting here is if we're talking about store of value, 16 years is not enough history to determine whether something is a store of value or not. I mean, Bernie Madoff ran his Ponzi for almost 20 years. So I'm not saying that's the case here, but I still think it's too early to determine whether Bitcoin will even be a store of value in the next 30, 40, 50 years, because 16 years is too early. We don't even have regulations. And I don't think any country in the world is going to make an asset a store of value while still playing the game of we don't know who created it. The truth is they were behind it, intelligence agencies, some of these venture capital firms funding it with the central banks. All the breadcrumbs and the trails are there that support that thesis, that theory, excuse me. So I believe at the end of the day, some of these technologies will begin to stabilize over time and not behave like a risk-on asset as they are today. And that will come from real network adoption and utility over time. It doesn't happen overnight.
Like I've been saying this entire time, Bitcoin does not look like a good store of value. I pointed it out in video after video. Every time a crisis breaks out somewhere in the world, Bitcoin right away starts dumping down. And as we start to see utility with XRP, seeing it actually be utilized for its use case, I think it's going to strengthen XRP. And that's how it's going to eventually take over Bitcoin. And he's not wrong. The NSA is who created Bitcoin. Take a listen to Lynette Zhang.
But number one, I started watching Bitcoin when it was about $7 a coin. So I've been watching this evolution. I do not think that it's an accident that Bitcoin came out to the public in January of 2009 and quantitative easing. So all that free massive amount of money came out in March of 2009. And I've also read the 1996 NSA white paper. So that's an American government agency.
National Security Agency.
Exactly. On how to make a mint. And if you go in, I mean, it's open source. You can go in and read it, and you're going to find a lot of similarities. So there was, frankly, no doubt in my mind that in 2008, when they let Shearson go out, that the system had died. And it was put on life support to get the new system ready. And the new system was already, I mean, this isn't something that was magical. That's why Bitcoin came out in January of 2009, because let me ask you, how much money do you think would have gone into this? Since you're absolutely right, there's the same fundamental belief, but how much more money would have gone into this?
Yeah, gold would have been $30,000 an ounce or something, yeah.
Oh, well, God knows what it would be.
Yeah, but
because you would have
levels,
had, exactly. And actually, that's only in terms of dollars. We should talk about fundamental value another time. So I believe that Bitcoin was a Trojan horse and is a Trojan horse to get people comfortable, get enough adoption to then go into this next surveillance economy.
What Bitcoin was meant to do was to get people to adopt a new financial system, get people ready for a new financial system. And the new financial system is not going to run on Bitcoin. It's going to run on XRP, XLM, XDC, HBAR, QNT, IOTA, Algo. Those are going to be the cryptocurrencies of the future because they do everything that Bitcoin couldn't do. They solved all of Bitcoin's problems. It was just a test coin from day one. ISO 222 compliant crypto companies are front-running the next ETF wave. XRP, HBAR, XLM are aligning with Fedwire and Swift upgrades by 2025. The same rails TradFi runs on. ETFs are pulling institutional liquidity, setting up a regulated alt season early. So you see how ETFs accelerate altcoin season for ISO projects. Inflows from institutions, spot ETFs like Rex Osprey and so on, draw billions in fresh capital, boosting liquidity and prices. Analysts predict $5 to $30 billion for XRP alone by Q1 2026, spilling over to HBAR XLM via index funds. In other words, they're going to push up the price of XRP so it could actually be utilized within ISO 222. People will argue XRP has to be at least 3 digits to be utilized within ISO. Regulatory greenlight and timeline sync. SEC's generic listing standards fast track approvals. XRP decisions October 18th to the 25th. HBAR by September 9th, delayed from June. XLM, same thing. But now with the government shutdown, it got pushed ahead even more. Price catalyst and capital rotation, post-ETF approvals, expect a 3 to 10x surge on XRP to $15 to $30, HBAR to 60 cents plus, XLM past 40 cents, all-time high towards $1. As Bitcoin dominance dips below 50%, rotating funds to alts, early XRP futures, ETFs, July 2025, already spiked prices 10%. ISO compliance adds utility narrative, drawing banks like Santander and IBM. Broader adoption loop. ETFs legitimize these tokens for pensions, ETFs, and so on, enabling CBDC pilots and real-world asset tokenization. So they're saying $3 billion plus on Hedera this alt season by increasing on-chain activity. XLM's Protocol 23 upgrade Q3 2025 and whale accumulation outpacing non-compliant alt. It's going to be a crazy alt season, not just for XRP, but for XLM, for HBAR, for XDC. These ISO cryptocurrency projects, they're going to be huge, and people are still downplaying ISO like it's not a big deal. FTX issues warning as fraudulent emails circulate during $1.6 billion creditor payout. So the scams are even targeting the FTX payouts to the people that lost their money with FTX. Scams are everywhere. You gotta keep your crypto safe. Don't fall for anything that looks too good to be true. And definitely get your crypto off the exchanges as well. I'm telling you, when XRP really starts to break out, you're going to see a lot of these exchanges going down, and they're going to cite congestion. What the fact is this, they don't want you selling at the top. They don't want you selling at certain price points. You got to keep your crypto safe as well. With regulations around the corner, we don't even know what exchanges are going to make it through regulations. I want to get rich with all of you, but you got to keep your crypto safe. And until it happens, stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.